Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? I would imagine this is a really significant event for the UNI community, especially considering it ain't every day that you see a UNI football player taken in the top 20 of the NFL draft. What's the reaction been like?
Oh, it's been incredible, especially UNI Athletics doing an incredible job of covering everything that's happened in the last 24 hours or so. I'm sure you've heard about it, but Penning is the first round NFL draft pick to come out of Northern Iowa, to come out of Cedar Falls. He's an Iowa boy. He's a Panther through and through. He is the definition of what our offensive line coach, Ryan Clanton, likes to call a dog on the offensive line. He's a mauler, and again, Cedar Falls has just embraced him in every way possible, and I've just seen an outpouring of support for him, which is completely warranted for what he did for the Panthers over the last few years.
Tell us a little bit about his story, because I've seen how lightly recruited he was, and quite honestly, just how light physically he was when he showed up on campus.
Yeah, he was tiny, man. He was tiny. I believe he played tight end in high school, and they brought him in and really beefed him up. It was similar to the story of Spencer Brown, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with. I believe he's the right tackle for the Buffalo Bills, but he played left tackle in Cedar Falls for the Panthers. And he came in from 8-man football and was super skinny, played tight end, and then they beefed him up. And it's the exact same story with Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning is just he's a little bit more of an athlete. He's just more aggressive in terms of just the way he puts guys into the ground. Not saying that Spencer Brown is not that, but Trevor is just on another level when it comes to these FCS guys on the offensive line. I mean, he was in the running for Walter Payton Offensive Player of the Year in the FCS, and he's a lineman. That doesn't happen.
It's crazy. When did it really start to click that a lot of people looked at Trevor Penning and thought, man, this guy has the potential to be a first-round draft pick?
Honestly, it took me by a bit of a surprise in the middle of this last football season. Like, it was sort of off the radar because, FCS, they played in the spring in 2020, at least the schools that decided to. And they must have really caught on in the tape that he brought in the spring. And a lot of eyes were on him from the beginning of the season. I mean, a lot of people like to evaluate that tape of his from when the Panthers played Iowa State and Ames this year. And really from then on, he's just been absolutely dominant. And I know I've talked about him with a few NFL draft experts on Cornstalk Sports Talk, and he's really gained a ton of attention, been noticed as a first-round draft pick, again, probably since the middle of the season this last year. Prior to that, it was like second, third round maybe, but he just shot up the board, especially with his performance in the FCS season this year.
Eliot Clough, a UNI Insider, joining us here to talk a little bit about Trevor Penning. Obviously, the Saints need help at tackle. He played left tackle. Is he an NFL left tackle? Is that the consensus?
In my opinion, I think he becomes that. I know that a lot of the evaluation has been that he needs to grow technically, right? That's the big thing for Trevor. He's big. He's raw. He didn't play offensive line before he got to college, and he did play right guard in his first few snaps before transitioning to left tackle with the Panthers once Spencer Brown moved on. But the thing about Trevor is that he's got the attitude, man. He's got that mauler in him. He's got that dog, like people like to say. And because of that, he's going to get the attention of opposing defenses, and he's shown that he can work, right? He went from being a twig to putting on so much weight to learning about the position, and because of that, I trust every single part of his ability and his work ethic to learn more about the position and get that technical stuff right. I would trust him more to be a right tackle initially in his beginning of his NFL career, but I said it on Twitter today. I responded to somebody who had a question. He can be your left tackle for 10 years. I fully expect that to happen, not only because of his attitude, his athleticism, the way he plays the game of football, but because of his work ethic. It's been demonstrated. I mean, he went from being this under-recruited guy, one scholarship offer out of high school to being a first-round draft pick. He can put in that work.
Work ethic is there. I think we see that. Obviously, the attitude is there. What are the potential shortcomings? What are the areas he's got to improve?
It's going to be that technical stuff. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Blocking in space can be a bit of an issue. I'm not saying he has slow feet, but that's something he needs to work on. He needs to work on a bit of that agility. Engaging in blocking in space is going to be something that sticks out. And I know a lot of people have question marks about the penalties. In regards to the penalties, the running joke for UNI fans this year was that Penning was just so freaking dominant that he was getting penalties for things that he didn't do or for finishing a play. He got unsportsmanlike called on him because he finished the play too hard, at least probably once or twice a month during the season, so probably twice in 4 games. It was just so unfair how dominant he was that he'd get penalized. And so the penalties might come along more now just because he has to learn some of that technical stuff and he'll get caught holding from time to time. As long as Saints fans can be patient and be patient as he's learning, that'll be incredibly important. And because he's going to get there, but he has to learn.
Eliot, as far as the athleticism, this was interesting. I saw this video where Trevor Penning was dunking, but like doing a windmill dunk on a basketball court. So, I mean, what other areas has he shown like this level of athleticism?
I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind to me, right? It's that windmill dunk, but also his ability to recover when he initially gets beat. And part of that, too, is just his sheer strength. I believe he has a squat record at UNI, 625 pounds, something crazy like that, 675 maybe. And the sheer strength is shown on top of that athleticism. He might get beat on a first move, but he's going to recover. He might be in a position where he's not exactly technically sound, but that strength and that athleticism is going to get him back in a position where he can defend the quarterback with his life. And I mean, just look at these stats, because pass pro is a question for him too. But the dude allowed 2 sacks in the 2020 and 2021 season. He allowed 1 sack this last year. I think 4 hits total between 2020 and 2021 season. I know. I looked that up before we started. But it's going to be shown in his ability to recover. He's not going to be throwing down windmill dunks on every possession for the Saints, but it's going to be his ability to recover and then show that strength too.
He is Eliot Clough. What UNI Insider, what else do Saints fans need to know about the 19th overall pick?
I think that it's been shown in some of the interviews he's done. He might not be the greatest interview in the world. He's not going to be a guy that's flashy with the media. But there's another video that I have that is of the game when UNI was playing NDSU at North Dakota. And what happened was there's a ball boy for UNI football. His name's Matt Gray. He's been great story. You should look him up. But there was a point in time where one of the players for NDSU ran into Mac and knocked a ball out of his hand. And what Trevor did on that next possession was put that dude into the ground. Trevor is not outspoken. He's a pretty quiet guy, but man, he is loyal, and he is going to be a Saint through and through, like he was a Panther through and through. He's just a mauler, man, and I really think Saints fans are going to fall in love with what he's going to do on the offensive line for the next 10 years.
Well, it's definitely a position of need, and it sounds like they got a good one. Eliot Clough, UNI Insider. Man, we appreciate you spending some time today, shedding some light here on Trevor Penning. I know a lot of people here are excited about it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.